ready for that. Chesire and their tool is, well, I put them in wrong spots, but we will make it work. Spacenut. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm super excited to update this as much as we can and change colors. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive on in, shall we? Let's go ahead and get into Spacenut, which is Chesire. Let ride. Alright, so we do have Chesire in the red over on the west side. Meanwhile, Spacenut rocking the blue on the east side. And we're just going to go ahead and let these lovely people set up as I do change those colors. As, look at that, Chesire is already in the red. And look at that, Spacenut's going to be in the blue. Look at that, it's so cool. As we know, this is a best of 5 between the two of these players, as we are in the group division. And let's go ahead and dive into the decks that we have here. So for Chesire, we are going to see that he is going to go with a Fox meta, a Soul Fox. I don't really see that often in this game for these past few metas, to be honest with you. So it'll be interesting how Chesire plays this. Meanwhile, for Spacenut, going for the standard board deck that I come to know and love. I've used this pretty often in the earlier patches in the game from last year. It's always been a good one for me. But of course, things have changed now, so we'll see how much of these two compositions are going to be adjusting. I am going to be intrigued of how the cams are going to be used for Chesire's end comparatively to what Spacenut can bring, as we are going to go into the opening tier 1s as they both open up with squirrels. And though for Chesire, it's going to be a combination of both the cams and the ferrets, so a pretty tier 2 heavy composition for Chesire. And then we go ahead and dive into some of the mills that we have in this one. It looks like that this map is actually more smaller than the others, because like there really aren't a lot to be going around here. There is like one campfire here that's out there all on its lonesome, but I don't really expect neither Chesire or Spacenut to really like go after each other that much, considering that they're so close. I will say the mill action, I will give the edge over to Chesire, as he is going to go ahead and see that there's a secret campfire that he could probably utilize in case things get hairy. But I will give him the edge on this one because of the fact that he has two different mills that are easily grab, plus the one campfire and plus the secret campfire he did discover. Meanwhile, for Spacenut, a little bit difficult, more of a difficult thing for him, because he can get a second one easy, but it's a little bit out of the way, but it is covered pretty heavily. But this third mill is way out of the open, so it'll be something to really look into as we kind of dive into the first couple of games here. I will say though, I am very intrigued to see how this goes. Both of these players are fairly fairly experienced. I don't know if both of them have ever been into the competitive scene as of quite yet. I don't believe so, but both of these guys have done some pretty good leniency. As we are going to get into our first battle, as Chesire is going to go ahead and go with the ferret combination of the tier 2. Meanwhile, for Spacenut, kind of struggling a little bit here as he loses all of his tier 1. All he has left is the skunks, and now we're going to see a little bit more damage being done as the pig goes down, and that's going to be a really good attack there from Chesire, as he's going to go ahead and retreat a little bit and just have an opportunity to replenish. But now we're going to see another attack again from Chesire. Some really good tactics here, as a lot of them getting wiped out by these ferrets. Really coming into play here, coming in clutch. And this game might be going to Chesire, but his commander goes down. Oh, this is going to be really tight. He needs to go ahead and focus on those ferrets first and foremost, because there's not much he can do, but Chesire is going to go ahead and get his retreat, and that is a lot of damage being done over to Spacenut, so that's going to put things in a bit of a struggle here for Spacenut to try to recover from this, as Chesire is continuing to clean this up, and this might be it after these next couple of hits from the ferrets, and that will be that. So game number 1 will be going over to Chesire as he goes up 1-0. Look at that. Bam. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. Very dope stuff. So, unfortunate start there for Spacenut. Kind of went a little bit away from him on this. I will say it probably, because everything went pretty even Steven until Chesire pretty much had the more superior army and just went ham for the rest of the way. So good matchup there for Chesire. I do think that you probably consider him to be as the favorite in this matchup, since I think he is the more veteran of the two. But let's go ahead and see if things continue that right for Chesire, or will Spacenut be able to tie things up? So, once again, Chesire in the red, out over into the northwest position. Meanwhile, for Spacenut, going over to the east position in the blue. And this is a very intriguing composition here from Spacenut. 3 defensive tier, really going to go ahead and get into a very heavy owl comp, with the squirrels to tag along with it. Meanwhile, for Chesire, also going for an owl comp himself, but really going to be more so of your standard deck, as we are going to see the snakes and the falcons coming in for Chesire with the tad bit of squirrel. And of course, I do find the pigeon very interesting. I don't know how well the pigeon will be used in this composition, because like it's really mainly used for units like the boar or the badger, especially the badger in this case. But it'll be interesting to see what happens here between these two, as they both completely change up their compositions. Looking into the map itself, this is once again a pretty small-ish map, very open field. Don't have to worry. Good thing there's no lizards involved for either side, other than the harassment would be crazy. But when it comes to the availabilities of which ones could be going, I will have to say that this may go a little bit into Spacenut's favor, because of the fact that this one's very easy to grab, even with the small amount of water. It's not that big of a deal, and like everything is on even playing ground. Plus, with the campfire, will make things a little bit easier. There is a chance for harassment here for this 4th one. It really can be anybody's, to be honest, but he may have to prevent any kind of access for that mill from happening whatsoever, as we are going to dive into a lot of the early build-up for both of these tiers. Chesire going to go heavy on the squirrel with a tad bit of pigeon, which is an interesting play to start off with. And Chesire will be going into his 2nd mill already. And Spacenut may or may not know if it's going to be happening here. He's going to go down, so I don't think he'll be... I don't know if he saw that or not. I don't think he did. He did not, so... Fortunately... Well, maybe he did? Actually, I'm kind of curious now. Did he? I don't think he did, so that's unfortunate. So, with that, Chesire is going to be a little bit of the edge because of the lack of scouting on this end. The MGs are going to come out, which is very, very interesting. And now we're going to see the cannons coming off for Spacenut as well. So both of them could kind of take a very heavy defensive stance here in the early goings. And right now, Chesire is just kind of greeding up a little bit. So far so good when it comes to what Chesire is kind of doing here. Trying to set things up pretty easily, but I think once Chesire does see the cannon or the artillery, he's going to be like, okay, cool, that's fine. Here's what I'll do. I'll sell off a couple of my MGs, because obviously you're kind of in defense mode. But no, he's going to go super, super greedy in the early goings of this. So I'm very intrigued on what he's going to plan on doing here. Spacenut does have the superior army right now with the Falcons as well to set things up. So it really depends on how Spacenut attacks this, if he does decide to attack this now. So let's actually go ahead and look at the army value. Spacenut is a little bit on the edge at the moment, but the economy is going to play a huge, huge role right now, because he's going to be incredibly behind. And with the fact that the tier 3 already, the owl is going to be coming out, so both players really wanted to go into a massive owl composition in the early going, which is not going to be as clean as possible. We are going to get a fight here, and it looks like Chesire is going to be able to defend this pretty well. Chesire is now going to go into his 2 tier 2s, though the owl is going to come in probably, well, it's going to be bought for in about 30 seconds, so Chesire will have more than enough. Actually, nope, he's going to go ahead and invest in a 2nd owl. So that's the fun thing about owl compositions, is that you don't want 1 owl. You want like 2 or 3 is probably a good number to really have, especially when you're going heavily defensive as he is right now. He is going to be blocking one of his owls just for a little bit, as it is finally going to get paid for, but it doesn't really matter too much considering that Spacenut is also going heavily defensive, and I don't know how often he's scouted here, in all honesty. And Chesire is going to be okay with just getting killed here, and the owl for Spacenut is already going to be placed down, but the unfortunate thing is that Chesire is already ahead of the game, because he's about to put down his third, and that's going to be pretty huge. He's going to go ahead and sell one of his squirrels, does get that paid off for, and right now, I will have to say that Chesire is 100% in control of this game, having a crap ton of owls on the ready, and really having a bit of a more superior, I would say a more superior army, because even though you can say that the units are somewhat even here, the amount of owls that Chesire has going to be having here is going to be huge within this one, as we are going to go into more of a long game. The 5-minute goes down. Hey, Digimon, what's good? I don't know what your name in the Discord is, so if you want to let me know, that'll be dope. But in any case, we are going to see that more defensive play right here between all of these players right now. So this might be a long one. This might go up to 10 minutes with how things are going, as I don't think either side are going to be able to really properly scout anymore. I do think that both Chesire and Spacenut could probably, use this pathway here, since there's not a lot of, defensive units to really kind of come into it. AJ, okay, AJ, got it. Cool. I'm assuming like you're new, because I don't think you're in the tournament, right? I'm pretty sure you're not. I may be wrong though. But yeah, right now, Chesire is really doing a very good job at building up army and income, because, like, yeah, they're pretty even right now, but I would say that when it comes to the disparity between the number of... it's because of more of the Falcon count. If we get into an intense battle, and I will say the wisest thing for Spacenut to do is to go for the flying units, but it's going to be very difficult because of the fact that even though the mice are going to come into play a little bit more here, it's going to leave their warrens and mills a lot more open as well, because of the fact that they don't really have any kind of ground units to try and at least keep some of the mice and squirrels and Chesires and to be busy. And that's going to be the big concern here, because even though the amount of mice is going to be a lot on the owl's end, I'm not sure what the number is for owl. Tournament, just watching. You do see my comments, I think, on YouTube. Okay, cool. Nice. Well, hopefully you'll be able to join the next go around when we have one. I know we have a another tournament that's getting set up as well. I'm not sure if that's still open, but definitely keep an eye out if you are in the server. I believe if not, then I can see if I can get an invite leaked for you at some point, maybe after this series or after this game. But yeah, we'll definitely try and get you hooked up. But yeah, so right now both sides are kind of really going hefty, or might get like one battle to rule them all a little bit, as at this point Spacenut just going super heavy on the Falcon front, doing the copy machine on the Falcons, and we're now going to see another fight commencing, as Spacenut trying to go ahead and utilize a lot of the defense here, trying to get all of this mill to be down, but it might not be the wise decision, as the entire army is going to get depleted here, and Chesire has the opening to go ahead and take things down and wrap this up right here. And the overwhelming is coming. The artillery, nothing is going to go this way, as I think Chesire basically takes game 1 here. Well, game 2, I should say. Sorry. So, great effort there for Chesire to be able to basically control the game outright and really get this win. So, Spacenut's now starving. I'm pretty sure he's going to tap here. If not now, this is just going to be the end of it. So, yep, game number 2 is going to go over to Chesire once again. I have to add you on Discord because I have a lot of furries. I mean, sure, it's all Gucci. But yep. So Chesire getting game number 2 this time around. So he is going to be on match point. Let's see if Spacenut is able to get on the board here. On Discord because I have a lot of furry in this community. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't mind it. But yeah, this is a very cool, it's a very chill community over there for the Tooth and Tail because everybody's very helpful. You know, they want to do whatever they can to help get people to understand the game because there are some people that just are freaking like gods in this game, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead and dive on into game number 3 here. Yep, Chesire is now going to be on match point here with game number 3 as he's on the east side with in the left. But can Spacenut finally get on the board as he's going to be starting things off from the west side in the blue? Spacenut actually going to go ahead and go for some cheeky plays here. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And so he's going to go ahead and get a free farm here. Really good, easy 60 food. And call it a day. That's a great use of play there as Chesire is now going to be a little bit behind on the economy. Especially losing that 64 is very crucial in the early goings. We'll see what happens as it looks like Chesire is just going to go ahead and just vibe a little bit. Not going to worry about getting another... Not worrying about another attack pursuing. And it doesn't seem like Spacenut's going to want to try and go for this attack either. So... actually, no, we are going to see a warrant for Chesire to come in, and we're going to see Spacenut trying to be a little cheeky once again, but I'm not sure if it's going to work this time. It may. Because, yep, there it is. He was forced to sell, and there's not... He is going to try and attack it again, but the squirrel's going to come in time, I think. No, it's going to be 2! Oh, boy. Yeah. So... Yep, that's some good tempo right there for Spacenut. Oh, snap. Thank you for the follow, dude. Much appreciation. Don't worry, I don't do just Tooth and Tail. I also do some variety stuff. I'm trying to get back into streaming, actually. So if I do end up having something to kind of play and vibe and chill, I'll let you know, for sure. But yeah, I appreciate the follow, 100%. Honestly, they kind of spooked me. I haven't heard that in a while streaming. But yeah, thank you, Gary, for the follow. I appreciate it. So actually, I'm almost 1 away from 100. So that's kind of dope. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this battle here. Spacenut is looking to possibly make some noise. He doesn't have all of his squirrels on the ready. They're kind of struggling a little bit, so it's a bit worrisome. He should just wait until everybody gets over before he starts losing these squirrels. But now the battle is going to commence. He is going to take a majority of the squirrels, and he may be able to go ahead and try and clean things up here. But the reinforcements may be a little bit too much as the stragglers are coming in and not really doing as much damage as he would like. Especially with the campfire being a bit of a hassle. But now he's going to go ahead and target a Warren. Like, if that's the most he can get out of that, then that's fine. So now he is going to lose a squirrel to the campfire, and that's also something you got to pay attention to as well, is the placement of your squirrels. The squirrels is just going to be into it as he's going to go ahead and dive into the strength. Campfire finally goes down, and now the battle is going to commence between the two. And it looks like Spacenut is going to hold off on this. And yes, blue is my hero color as well. I definitely understand that. But at this moment, Spacenut is struggling to try and get things together, even though he had a little bit of an advantage in the original attack, trying to be aggressive. But now he's kind of have to go on a little bit of a retreat and just try and get some skunks in, which is wise. I don't think attacking right now is going to be the right move. The pigeons going heavy on the pigeons on Chesire end is going to be interesting, just to try and keep the squirrels alive. And now that the commander is down, he's going to have to try and bring his boys back just so they can be more prepared. And it's not going to be unfortunate because of the fact that the skunk is not ready yet. And most of the squirrels are going to be gone before the skunk can really be a factor. And with the amount of pigeons that are out there, it's going to make things a lot more difficult for Spacenut to take over it. So this might actually be game here, because his entire army is deplenished. There's not much left that he could really do to keep things going, as farms are now going down. Chesire has kind of overrun this, and that's going to probably be the series, as Chesire just completely overwhelmed them, even with some of the struggles in the early goings from the aggressive attack from Spacenut. It does not matter, as we do get the sweep from Chesire 3-0.